If you want to see how far America has fallen, just take a look at how disabled our family units are here. The family unit has long been attacked here. I'm sure it started before women went back to work, but government getting all the women all riled up. Oh, you need to go to work. You need to be an independent. You need to make some money, blah, blah, blah. And, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, inherently as humans, the men are supposed to provide, really, and the women nurture and they care and they take care of shit. So, there should be some kind of balance with everything. And so nowadays, it's women are like completely having to be independent, they're raising children on their own, all kinds of stuff. But the family unit has long been attacked here. I do believe a big bulk of that started when women went back to work. They went back to work and now both parents were working. They had to have somebody raise their kids. They invented microwaves, to nuke the baby formula so you have more time to go to work and everything can be a lot quicker, Microwaves were a Nazi invention, by the way. It heats up your food. It radiates your food. It is really, really bad. Microwaves are really bad to use for food. It's almost mortifying when you find out the truth about microwaves. I do not use microwaves anymore. I'll eat my food cold before I put it in a fucking microwave anymore. But what I'm saying is the family unit has long gone downhill here in America. And then you've got, I would say about the 80s and 90s, I think the drug epidemic also played a part. Of course, everything is connected. Literally everything is connected. If you really dig into stuff, you'll find that a lot of it is connected. There's a lot of reasons why a society would be destabilized. And, our society isn't destabilized in like third world country ways. It's more deceptive and elusive and very secretive, we're in a country where we think we're free. And yeah, we are absolutely free to a degree, but we are most definitely absolutely not free at all. In fact, there are other countries who don't even really consider us free, or at least the freest nation like we think we are. We think we are the freest nation on earth. No, my friends, technically we're really not. But another thing that I think helped destabilize the family unit was the mass introduction of drugs into American cities in the 80s. I mean, it had been a couple decades that drugs were, I said drugs have been around, heroin, opium, all that kind of shit. The Nazis were using fucking meth. They were all fucking meth the fuck out, flying their fucking spacecraft. That's scary as fuck, right? Drugs have been around for a while, like literally nothing new under the sun. But the CIA didn't start pumping massive amounts of drugs into our cities until the 80s. And so by the 90s, we had the crack epidemic. That destabilized a lot of our Black Americans. That was a specific attack on our Black Americans, okay? And if you want to get technical when it comes to our Black Americans, they have the same opportunities that we do, but they are still systematically attacked in many, many, many different ways. Many different ways. So just keep that in mind. So while you simultaneously have the CIA and the cartels and all that pumping drugs into these American cities, you've got now the invention of rap music, right? Which essentially was meant to fill up the prisons with our Black people and pretty much anybody else, and the crime rates and all that stuff. And we saw how it formed, right? Like personally for me, I used to be a dancer. I used to be a stripper back when I was a young adult, and I had a lot of fucking fun. Those were some of the best years of my life, okay? Best years of my life. I had so much fun. Tits don't bother me. It's not a big deal. Back then, it's nothing I would never, ever, ever do now. But back then, it wasn't a big deal. I learned to dance on stage. I did it. I called myself a stripper with morals, okay? I didn't even go around asking people for dances. I couldn't. I was like, this is so fucked up that I go to try to talk to these guys just to get a dance out of them. I couldn't do it. So I just hung out with my friends, and if people wanted dances, I would give them dances, whatever, and I made my money that way. But So I am well into the gangster stripper, all that kind of shit. I come from a background of drugs. When I was a teenager, I dated one of Pensacola's biggest drug dealers. We dated on and off pretty much for 5 years or so. And I had gotten sucked into the drug lifestyle. As a dancer, it was just more of a party. It wasn't an addiction or anything. Later on, it became an addiction, but back then it wasn't. So what I'm getting at is I appreciate the rap music, okay? The shit nowadays, no. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think things after 2010 kind of started getting, okay, I don't know about that. And then about after 2018, I'm like, okay, this sounds like absolute fucking shit. So back when I danced, back in 2006, 7, 2005, 8, those were some decent rap years, okay? When I say decent, I mean it in a stripper sense, shaking my booty to it, whatever. But it still was created to essentially destabilize parts of our culture. And it most definitely did. To where now pretty much and every person in America, for the most part, has some experience with drugs, whether it be themselves, a relative, a friend, somebody they knew that passed away from it. It is nowadays. It is so prevalent, and the drugs running rampant throughout our country. Of course, all that is about to change now that the drug cartels have been deemed terrorists. Woohoo! So, but now, I personally come, like I said, from a background of drugs. I lost myself. I lost everything. I lost my life. I died, and I had an NDE, and that's when my walk-in came in and took over this body. So I come from a background of drugs and stuff, and I see how much it has affected our society and our families. It's taken mothers and fathers away from their children. It's taken children away from their mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is just parts of how the American family has been destabilized. Another way that it has been destabilized is the hypersexualization of our society. Oh, good God Almighty. It has long been past the point of just, okay, right? Okay. There's always been people that express themselves, whatever, throughout history, especially modern history. But damn, the last 2 decades, good God. 2 decades, probably a little bit longer than that. Okay, if you want to get technical. The destabilization of our marriages, our relationships. The divorce rate is well over 50%, I would say. Not well over, but a couple years ago when I had checked, it was over 50%. So I can only imagine what it is now, especially after whatever's gone on the last few years. So they have hypersexualized everything very slowly over a period of time to introduce it into the culture, get it into the minds of our children, get them all hypersexualized at a young age, all kinds of stuff, and to what it's turned into. And so with that comes a lot of superficial, artificial relationships. You've got a lot of people that are, it is common in our culture to just sleep around, is it not? It's common to jump from relationship to relationship, is it not? That's a normal thing. Oh, I was, dating whoever 6 months ago, and now I'm seeing whoever. And it's just like nothing. And you know what? I'm not hating on people. Look, you do whatever the fuck you want. As long as it doesn't affect me, but I'm not going to take that stance because I see how a lot of this shit affects our world and makes it for the worse. So I am absolutely going to speak up on shit. I just see how many people are so lost because they are ruled by their trauma, and then they mix that with a hypersexualized society. They're stuck in their sacral. They're jumping from relationship to relationship. They may have entity attachments, all kinds of stuff. And, I have never been one to be like this. I had my fun back in the day, young and whatever, but I was never one to be like that. When I dated someone, I dated them for a few years. And then there was time, I've been single a lot too. And I've only dated less than probably, I don't even know, 7 people, and so I'm not saying that I'm a saint. I'm no way a saint, but I'm not ruled by my sacral. I never have been. I'm more monogamous. I know there's the one for me out there. And that's what I want. That's what I've always wanted for the most part, pretty much. And so, I don't agree with the whole jump into relationship to relationship. And I think that, a lot of it has to do with a lot of toxic shit that people need to heal from. So what I'm getting at is it's very sad because there's so many children that are caught in the middle of all of this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You got women with all different kinds of baby daddies and fucking just all kinds of stuff. People that aren't able to take care of their kids, and these children are misplaced and mistreated and abused and neglected and not taken care of. And God, it's a normal thing here in America for them to have a shit diet and fucking in fluorescent lighting classrooms and sugar and TV, iPads, phones, fucking. It's disturbing as fuck is what I'm saying. So when you take a step back and you look at the bigger picture here, I for one feel everything has been intentionally designed to essentially genocide us in many different ways, many different creative ways, very deep ways. And I obviously do not agree with it, but it's just parts of me being able to see through everything. And I can see how much of our society has suffered at the hands of the things we have been through and gone through for, decades and generations. That's been embedded in our DNA at this point. You know what I mean? And so we are now in a time where massive amounts of people are seeking healing. Not everybody, of course, right? But there are so many people seeking healing. And that is fucking amazing. That is amazing. So when I say, I don't think women should really work, I think their role should be as mother. People will take it far and they'll be like, they think of the 1950s housewife, that's all like zipped out on fucking lithium, and the husband's a drunk and fucking all she does is take care of the kids and he's the man of the house. And no, that's not that's like the toxic, most primitive 3D version of what I'm talking about. It's absolutely not that. A relationship should be a symbiotic relationship between a masculine and a feminine, where the man provides and the woman cares and nurtures, takes care of things. It should definitely be healthy to where it's not toxic in any way. I don't think there is absolutely anything wrong with women staying home and raising the kids. Like, absolutely not. And vice versa. Whatever you got to do to raise your own fucking kids, dude. Whatever you got to do to raise your own kids. Okay, we are in such dangerous fucking times right now for our children. Okay, people want to say, okay, Trump's getting in and things are going to change. Okay, that's great. Okay, but right now there's a lot of fucking shit going on, and our children are being attacked in many ways than one. And one of them is the public school system. Our education system has been weaponized against our children. I realize that people, they have these jobs and obligations and bills and all this shit, and they've got kids, and they've got to make sure their kids are taken care of, and their wife and their blah, blah, and their house and all that. And so they can't necessarily take their kids out of school or, figure out something else or whatever. To that, at this point, since I have been observing this, and this is a real thing I see people having problems with, and I totally fucking get it. The only thing I can say to stuff like that is, dude, you gotta start somewhere. Get your fucking kids out of get it out of the American public school system, at least for right now. It's so bad. Until things start changing with our education system and all of that, I would be very careful about putting your children in public school. I know that is not easy for a lot of people, but I'm just saying, we got to be careful who are around our kids nowadays, guys. There's so many fucking psychos that we don't really know are psychos, right? Teachers, fucking, oh my God. The things I've observed from teachers and shit the last few years is mortifying. Absolutely mortifying. I can't even imagine. If I have children, if I have any more children, they aren't doing any of that kind of shit. I'll tell you that. So what I'm getting at is the family unit has long been attacked here, and you see how much our country has suffered for it. We are all split up, okay? As how we are supposed to, a more balanced state of human is to actually grow up with your family. Live with your family, right? It'll be a big compound, community type shit. Communities with your family, and then whoever your children or you marry into, and then you build your communities. That's how it's supposed to be, right? That's how it's supposed to be. And that is what we are getting back to. But there is a lot of healing that needs to take place. And so Heal yourselves, y'all. Love yourselves, forgive yourselves, and know thyself. That's really the only way we can move forward the best possible way, not just for our own lives, but the collectives, right? At least that's how I feel. That's how I feel. I don't feel everybody is meant to take the same journey as me or take this any kind of journey of healing. I think a lot of people, though, are actually healing in many different ways and many different levels. But as far as to the large degree that I'm talking about, I don't really know how many people would be willing to actively heal as time goes on. But I do know we are in a time of healing and transformation. And so with that, we will shed what doesn't serve us. We will shed what doesn't serve us. And we will heal and we will transform. And the more we transform our own lives, the more we transform our outer and external world, right? Because that's how it works. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Holla!